So maybe it should be hashtag express. Not express like fast express, to express yourself. That is what you would be getting from my social media. Everything that I'm about, and I actually don't do anything that is maybe asked. And you know the pressure of being maybe a celebrity or an influencer, where you feel like, oh, ab to ye karna padega, ye wala challenge karna padega. It's not that. I feel like, hey man, whatever is fun, whatever comes organically and naturally.
Welcome to Social Nation.
Thank you so
And
much.
today we have with us Rannvijay Singha, who will be hosting a very adventurous show on Zest, which he'll be talking about it next. So please tell us what makes this show unique, and what would be your role in making the show the next stopwatch, something kind on the digital or
So
television.
this is a new show which is going to be on Zest. It's called Safari India.
और अगर यहाँ की राजा और प्रजा से मिलना है तो हमारी गाड़ी में एक सीट खाली है. Safari India.
I have gone to different safaris in India, different wildlife safaris, and हम लोग इंडिया में इंडिया से बाहर जाते हैं अलग अलग देशों में, और वहां पर जाके when we are on our holidays we like, oh, let's do a safari. But I just want to tell people that I've done both. I've been abroad and gone for some wildlife safaris, and now after this experience, I've realized that the forests, the national parks, and the wildlife that we have in India is unbelievable. We are very rich in wildlife and forests, and different kinds of forests and different kinds of wildlife. आप काजीरंगा जाओगे तो आपको अलग वाइल्ड लाइफ मिलेगी, अलग किस्म के पेड़ मिलेंगे, अलग किस्म के फॉरेस्ट मिलेंगे in Arunachal and in that belt. And you come to Gir, and you go to Jim Corbett, you go to Ranthambore. It's different. These are different kind of forests and different kind of wildlife you get to see. So the show is about going to these safaris and actually meeting people who are helping the ecosystem of the jungles, of the forest, to grow and to become better. Meeting forest officers, rangers, trackers, locals, villagers, tribals, and their story of how they are helping in preserving and conserving the wildlife and the forests of our country, and how because of that offers benefit. Because if the ecosystem, if our rivers are better, उसका फायदा सिर्फ वहाँ के locals को नहीं होता है, हमें cities में भी होता है. If our forests are better, we all reap the benefits of it. But it's time that we recognize these people. It's time that we know their stories, and we help support in our own way by going there, by going for the safaris, by supporting them, by being respectful when we go to a safari. Not वहाँ के rules and regulations हैं to, as a tourist, not going and creating havoc, but actually respecting the wildlife, respecting the people who are taking you, the guides, the drivers, and not littering, and help conserving the forest in our own way by supporting them, by going there. And I have a feeling that after this show, a lot of people would want to go for these safaris and would want to experience the wildlife in India.
Absolutely. So, how are you? You've been tutored as a social media influencer, as a digital celebrity. So how are you using or leveraging your digital presence to, to promote the show, or kind of, make the show reach to the audiences? Because I think the show is something, the content is something that have been tried and tested before on television as well. If we see Into the Wild with Bear Grylls and Discovery, Animal Planet, it's all about that. We've been doing this since ages. So what USP that this show holds, and to build that curiosity among the audiences कि यार मतलब ये तो कुछ अलग है और इसको देखना ही है, something like that.
The USP of the show is that it's not just, the visuals will not just be of the animals. The visuals are not, yo, we saw the tiger, we saw the rhino, or we saw the elephant. It is, the USP is that I was actually on ground with the people who are taking care of these national parks, who are tracking the tigers, who are tracking the lions, what is their story? The people who are taking, wildlife photographers, what is their life like? Biologists, naturalists, what is their life like? What do they do? And how difficult their life is? People who are, so I'm also talking to them. So that's unique because I don't think people have seen images or visuals of those people, or they don't know their stories, the tribals, the villagers. So it's a very immersive experience, and the experience is not just of sitting in a vehicle and going through a safari. For me, it is bringing out the stories of these places to the people, so that you're attracted to that place and you actually go for the safari. The people behind the scene, the people who are helping making these national parks what they are, once you go to a place like Kaziranga or Gir, you realize the stories behind it, the people behind it, and how Kaziranga at one time was like only 432 square kilometers, and now it's 1,300 square kilometers. What is the story behind? Why did it increase? In Gir, in about 100 years ago, there were only 12 to 18 Asiatic lions. Aaj wahan pe 674 Asiatic lions hai. What changed? What is the attitude of the people around there? Why are they so proud? So it's a stories of that area, of that culture, and I don't think we've seen that before.
Okay. So like you said, the USP of the show is something that if we go BTS, behind the scenes, of what is happening, actually happening around. So any of those BTS, any anecdotes that have become unforgettable for you during the shoot, or during the journey, that one moment that that will live rent free in your mind for the years to
Uh,
come.
Sneha, many moments. There was one moment where we were deep in the Pake Tiger Reserve, and there's this organization that's rewilding bear cubs because because of different reasons why the parents are not there. They might have passed away, abandoned, whatever, right? So there are these bear cubs, and they need to be rewilded. So we were deep in the jungle in Pake Tiger Reserve, or we were walking. So when you're in this kind of an environment where you know that there are wild animals around you, and you're going for this, trekking is amazing, but knowing that there's a tiger in this jungle the excitement level and the adrenaline rush becomes crazy. Knowing that there are wild elephants, there are uh, like leopards, panther, bear, all of this. And then this guy is saying, and I was with like some forest rangers, that because it was such a dense rainforest, you can't really see far. So, in other forests like Gir and Ranthambore, you can see, dur dur tak dikhta hai ki wo animal hai. Yahan par, because it was so dense, he said that if there was an elephant a meter away from us, you would not know. So that excitement and that experience will always stay with me. And then when they were rewilding bear cubs, one of the cubs, because they're trying to rewild them in their own habitat, so that it's easier for the cubs to go and make their own nest and then survive in the wild. It was a female bear cub. Her name was Kali. She came and hugged my leg, and that was also like the fifth, sixth day of the whole journey that we were starting. It was difficult. Our schedule was very hectic, and that hug kind of gave us the right kind of momentum, saying that it was like she was from nature's side, saying that, okay guys, you're on a good journey, we support you, and here's a hug from us. Go on this journey, and we appreciate you. And it was amazing. It was unreal, because I was with some people who've been doing this for a long time, and even they were like, this doesn't happen. It's not like, oh, what a great experience. No, it was something that you don't control, and it happened. And from that point onwards, we realized that we're on we're on a path where if we respect and if our intention is right and we respect the animals and the wildlife, we will get great experiences. And that's what we got. We saw 200 hornbills roosting. Like that was amazing. We saw wild elephants, tigers, we saw lions, all the animals, and all the people that we met kind of inspired us. And I think it'll be a different angle to not, you won't just be seeing and experiencing wildlife on this show. You would want to go and actually physically be there and go to the tribals. Like I went to the Kabi tribe, that they live in Assam, and they've turned around things for themselves. Man, you always think, yo, hamari legacy, hamara naam, and these guys from whatever they were, they wouldn't go out to cities and tell people where they were from because they were ashamed because unka naam thoda sa kharab ho rakha tha. But now they've turned it around. They have a Kabi food center. It's part of their tradition, and they're so proud of telling people where they're from. So stories like that, where even human beings have turned things around, where they've changed their traditions, and it'll be amazing.
Nice. If you would like to describe your experience in a hashtag for shooting the show, or if you'd like to describe the whole show, actually, so how would you describe it in a hashtag?
Hashtag born to be wild.
So we are a publication that deals with more of digital celebrities and creator economy. Looking at your digital presence also, which is massive. So, how would you describe your social media as in a hashtag?
I think what I try to do is I try to stay current. So it'll be hashtag current, because what people try to do is they try to be somebody else, and they try to be like, oh, what does the social media need me to be? So I kind of express myself. Like if I play basketball, if I have a family, if I am somewhere, it's so maybe it should be hashtag express. Not express like fast express, to express yourself. That is what you would be getting from my social media. Everything that I'm about, and I actually don't do anything that is maybe asked. And the pressure of being maybe a celebrity or an influencer, where you feel like, oh, ab to ye karna padega, ye wala challenge karna padega. It's not that. I feel like, hey man, whatever is fun, whatever comes organically and naturally.
Any music reel trend on Instagram that you're currently hooked on to? Like you think so? There's AP Dillon's music that's that's everywhere right now, when people are creating content around it. And so what's that one real trend that you came across and you are like?
I like AP Dillon's music, and I know some of it's trending. A friend of mine, Badshah's, his music trends a lot. And when Raftar comes out with his music, that trends. I kind of stay away from doing those dance hook steps at that moment, because I don't want to be part of those trends. But there are trends like there's one where it's like आप जिस व्यक्ति को पहुंचने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, वो इस समय व्यस्त है. And basically that person is in the surroundings of nature. They're traveling or they're doing something which is a life experience. I like that, because I was on a journey like that with Safari India and Zizist, and people couldn't contact me because we were in places where there was no network. And it's very apt. It's very apt that after the lockdowns, after COVID or during COVID, people have realized that traveling was something that we took for granted, right? So that kind of reel makes me realize that, oh my God, like if somebody was actually calling me and if I was busy and they couldn't get in touch with me, they should know that I'm busy traveling or doing something exciting. So I like that one. I'll do it with some footage of Safari India. I will. You will see it soon.
Since we're talking more about safaris and the adventures that we would, do you remember the first safari or wildlife safari of your life? Any of the sanctuaries that you visited? The first one, the very first one.
So here's the thing. When I was in Jim Corbett when I was in Jim Corbett Park, and this guy was telling me about Jim Corbett Park, that I've been here for 5 years, 4 years. I had to tell him that my first birthday back in 1984, my first birthday was in 1984, was celebrated. My parents took me to Jim Corbett Park. So, because my dad he was from the army, he retired as a lieutenant general. My mom, her father was also in the army, and he was from the Kumaon regiment. Um, Being in places where there was wildlife, where you could go for a safari, was a thing for us. You know, we had the exposure to go be in jungles and then know that there is wildlife and maybe go for a safari. So from a very young age, I've had those experiences.
If we would ask you like 3 lesser-known facts about you.
Yeah, people would think that I'm very active, very like physically fit, this, that, adventurer, and all of that. But I don't think people know that I love to sleep. Like I would love to sleep for like 10, 12 hours, but it's just that I don't get to because of the kind of work that I'm doing, or because I have kids and because I have a family. But I'm inherently like I would love to sleep a lot, you know, because when I work out or when I go to play basketball, um, I I tend to, you know, you get tired and you want to sleep and you want to just sleep in and want to be lazy for a few days, but it just doesn't happen. But that's the aim, and I don't think people know that. The other thing is that I think people know that I'm a sneakerhead, but they don't know that they think that bikes or sneakers was my first love, but my first love was actually basketball, and that's the reason I got into sneakers. And thirdly, it might not seem like it, but I'm a big foodie. I love South Indian. I love North Indian. I like just like the geography of India and the wildlife of India. Even the food in India is just so diverse and so tasty. And you know the street food that we have, um, the the North Indian food. You know, when you say which country, you can say I like Italian food, I like Chinese food, and this and that. But when you say Indian food, you're covered. Yeah, you're covered because you have so much in India. You have everything. Yeah. So I think like if I had to choose one, that the last you after this you can't eat anything else but just Indian food, like just one country's food. I just say Indian because we have everything. We have so much.
So one dish that you can't live without.
I guess rajma chawal.
Gotcha.
Like it's a staple diet. Yeah.
So the next is, we are living in a world which is having a lot of uncertainties around. So what started in 2020 is still continuing in 2022. People hope that 2021 will be better. People again hope that 2022 will be better. But the uncertainties keep hovering around, and people kind of get stuck somewhere. You know, so what would you advise to the budding creators or content creators who face some kind of a block, or even the consumers of social media? You know, what would you advise that how do we sustain in this kind of an
See,
environment?
every every situation has there is an opportunity for a content creator. On that situation, you can make content. A lot of the content creators that I know, Bhuvan Bam, and he didn't have to travel anywhere. He made all his content at home. Prajakta Kohli, you don't see her traveling. She makes her content in one certain place at home. So for a content creator, it's you have more time. You don't have to travel anywhere. Nobody will say, why aren't you going out and making content, outside? Because everybody knows that you have to be at home, you have to stay safe. So people who are fitness influencers also made different ways of staying fit. People who cook try to, they got more time to be at home and figure out arts, craft, dance. You don't have to go out, man. So I think people have realized that if you're a content creator, you have more time because you're not traveling out to do anything. You have to figure out a way of expressing yourself to your audience, right? And I think maybe the lockdown helps some people to focus on that. You know, lots of comedians, lots of people who do stuff. You know, they're at home and they're doing different characters, and I don't think the lockdown can kind of um, strangle the creativity of a person, whereas it actually gives them more time to focus on what they're good at. And I've seen a lot of creators actually getting better and doing more content and working more because they realize that their content is being consumed more by people who are not content creators or who consume content. They actually have more time to, consume the creators. Once you're a creator and you're given a situation, if you tell a creator, hey, you're in an island, now that person will create their content there. Hey, you're on a sports field, what would that creator do there? Oh, you're at home, now what would you do? So it's up to the creator to like kind of be in a situation and do their thing.
Also, do you think switching off from social media at times is significant, because the amount of time that we spend on it? So, what would your mantra be for a social media detox? And how significant do you think it should be in someone's PDL?
I think there has to be a balance in life. Every day, if you do activities, when you go out, you play sports, you go to work, and if you're doing some activity and then you're kind of being on social media, showcasing what you did, that's okay. There has to be a balance. But if your life is just being on social media, then you need to detox, because you will actually take physically a lot of time to do those experiences. You have to go cycling, you have to go to the beach, you have to go play that sport, and while you're doing that, you're also trying to shoot it, and then you come back and you edit and you be on social media. So I think if you have a good balance, if you can strike a good balance, like even when we were on the show on Safari India, we were very clear that this is an experience that I have to go through and I have to express on the show what my experience is, and for that I have to actually experience it. We can't just be concentrating on getting some kind of content. So those are other people. So I was just like also going through my own journey, and you have to make a difference between what is going to go on social media and what you're actually physically as a human being experiencing. So a balance would be the key. My mantra is balance.
So there are basically lastly the three this or that kind of questions. So the first question is
Okay.
sleep for 12 hours or go on a trek?
Sleep for 12 hours after a trek.
Brilliant. Web series or a feature film?
Web series on a great platform, which is an international platform, because it reaches
Oh,
across the world. It reaches different people, and it's not just a 1.5 hour story. It could be a 10-hour story. It could be a 20-hour story. It could be going into 4 seasons, 5 seasons. So
one TV character or any character that you wish you would have portrayed in in real life.
in real life,
Real, not
in real
real.
life, a friend of mine, a lot of sports movies that I see, I feel like because because I was into sports and I was a sportsman, I feel like those would be the roles that I would have loved to do. But my heart goes to all the good army movies that I see. Right? I wish to do roles like that for sports um, and army and sports movies. But just looking at the amount of fun that some films have, the kind of geographically, when they go to different parts of the world, I feel like being part of Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, one of the characters, would be great, because you're just going and doing crazy things. You're experiencing amazing things. So that's great. But otherwise, I feel like a lot of biographies of legends. This is the kind of work that I would also want to do. Anything in uniform, anything sports based. But when you see like as a whole, I've seen, like, you've seen Fodder, you've seen Commando, films like that, action movies, and you'd love to do one of those action hero films I'm a huge fan of Wolverine, and if I could do something like that, that'd be amazing.
Beaches or mountains?
Mountains.
Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
Okay, sir. So lastly, please tell us, starting from ZZS, Welcome to the Wild, Safari India, how do you see your 2022, being the happening year, or what should we expect more from you the whole year?
What I want to say, welcome to the wild, and to everybody who watches Safari India. It seems like I am welcoming them. From 31st Jan, this journey will start. I think people will want to, especially after the last couple of years, plan their uh, trips to these places. One, they're away from this hustle and bustle. Second, will appreciate being part of nature. They will observe wildlife. I think these will be great trips, and I hopefully would want to do these journeys for myself over and over again. There's a show that's already on air, which is a business entrepreneurial kind of show called Shark Tank. Then I'm doing something where I did a series on Netflix. So the second season of that has been shot, so that will come out. So things like this, and then my own fitness journey called Burn, where I intentionally put on a lot of weight to be in the same shoes as people who lost hope or who don't believe that they can get fit. And then I kind of systematically got fitter. So I'm working on that. So that will be on my own channel. So doing things like that, stuff that I would love to do myself, and then just expressing it via different mediums. Watch my show Safari India on ZZest, and I just have to say one thing to you guys: welcome to the wild.
Thank you, sir. It was lovely talking to you. Thanks for your time.